Welcome to Raleigh Ron's Classics How to Box a Muscle Bike video. In this video we're going to try to show the parts that you're going to need to take off of the bicycle. We're going to show you how to put the pipe foam all around the frame to protect the paint, show you placement of the parts in the box and the box sizing. Now some of you may have seen our previous video that we made a couple years ago. There was no instruction with it, no narration, no anything like that. Just gave you the basics. So this is just going to take it up a notch. Now, in nearly every case, you're going to need to remove the handlebars, and in most cases, it's best to try to completely dismantle. Take the gooseneck, the levers, all that stuff off. But if you can get the pipe foam around every piece and leave it together, then that also will work. It all depends on your box. Now, as you can see, I'm measuring the box here. UPS's dimensions allow up to 130 inches. Now how they do that is they measure the length of the box, and then they measure the width of the box twice, and then they measure the height of the box twice. So when you total up the width times 2, the height times 2, and then add the length to that number, you will come up with a number. Ordinarily, most bicycles will fit in a 52 by 29 by 8 box. Now if you have unusual handlebars or anything like that, you may have to get 10 wide. If you go 10 wide, then you're going to have to take some size off of the length or the width or the height. So you can experiment with it. Just be sure you don't go over 130 inches. If you go over the 130 inches, they're going to double your fee nearly and add a $45 to $50 oversized box fee. So this is very important because it's going to make a bicycle that you might have been able to ship for under $50 into a bike that's going to cost you $100 plus. Now if you have a real unusual bike and you can't get it into one box and keep it under that price or under that size, you're going to want to use 2 boxes. So if you can get it into 2 small boxes, then you still actually will be money ahead in the long run. As you can see here in the video, I'm wrapping the bike with the water pipe foam. You can buy this at any hardware store. I think this here is for maybe 1-inch pipe. This stuff is used for insulation on water pipes under homes. It costs you about $1 a stick. Approximately 4 sticks of this stuff will cover nearly every piece of this bicycle. There's 2 different ways you can go. I usually use tape. I recommend zip ties. Unless you're very careful, then you can use the tape. But if you get tape on the chrome, it's hard to get off. If you get tape on paint, it's hard to get off. So if you do use the tape, try to keep it off of the paint or the chrome. Zip ties, they're pretty much a no-brainer. You just pull it down and tighten it. You're done. They're also inexpensive at the hardware stores. When you're boxing a bike, of course, cost is always one big factor. You're going to want to try to keep costs down as much as possible and get the bike safely to the buyer. As you can see here in the video, I'm adding a piece of paper wadded up underneath the rear fender. That's just something that I've started doing over time. It keeps anything from pushing the fender down a little bit, or if the fender takes just a light bump while it's getting thrown around, it will help protect it some. It's not going to keep it from it's not going to make it damage free or keep it from being damaged, but it will help some. In most cases I try to box where it's not an issue, but every bike I get, it seems like people don't put anything under there. It comes in, it'll be smashed all the way down to the tire, and once it's smashed, it has kinks in it and stuff. Now here's another little thing that I like to do. If there's a seat, I like to either put it in a box like I'm doing here. Pedals are good to be put in a separate box. You can get these boxes from the Postal Service for free. And once the bike's in the box, you just slip these down next to the bike, and it also adds a little bit of cushion and protection to the bicycle. You can see here I'm wrapping the handlebars now. I decided to leave the levers on and just wrap them with this foam. And like I said, the cheapest way that I know how to get packaging materials is to buy this foam at $1 a stick, or $1.50 a stick. I mean, you're not spending a whole lot of money, and it ensures that the bike will take any kind of punishment on the way there. If anything is to fall and hit this foam, it's going to protect the paint, and most collectors are wanting to protect the paint. Even if it needs repainted, they don't want it getting there in worse shape than it was. So once the bike is in the box, as you see here, I'm going to start stuffing paper all the way around it. Double check and make sure that this bike cannot move. You want a bicycle to basically be completely suspended inside of this box, and if you do this, then the bike won't flop around and pick up momentum. What happens if a bicycle's in a box and it's just loose? When UPS or someone tosses the bike, the box over end or whatever, the bike's just flopping around in there. It's going to actually pick up momentum before it hits the ground, and it's going to be a lot harder than it seems, which can bend forks or fenders or whatever. So if you completely make it where the bicycle does not move at all, then it's a lot safer. As you can see here, I took a shoe box and put it in front of the head tube all the way down to the end of the box, and that also is going to keep the bike from slopping back and forth also. And I was able to get every piece of this bicycle in there. As you can see, the box is a little fat now because I overstuffed it. So what I do is I try to pull it as tight as I can and pull the bike back, or the box back, to its original shape. And then I use priority mail tape or some sort of tape to tape the box up. The best thing that I've noticed on boxing a bike and taping it up is if you go all the way around it a few times at the top, the bottom, and the center, then it helps strengthen that box up a little bit too, especially if the box has been used a couple times. And of course, you may want to push the bike box back in so that it's not bulged out, because that's going to add width to your box. I believe this box came up to 51 by 28 by 10. So I'm under the safety area there. It was 45 pounds. So good luck in your boxing bicycles, and I hope this video helped.